Ao bahol, rally kupantleng, Chang South Africa, linele maikarabelo, tlogelang bosenyi bogodu, go utswa le go senya, make a better place for you and for me. Those kids are so precious. Dumelang bo maseve. This week we are in the GWM Tank 500 and we're gonna have a conversation. So if you are new here, welcome. I hope you stay. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get notifications every time I post. And if you're an upstanding member of the Maseve Society, thank you so much. Please continue to watch those ads because we love Gucci and all that jazz. Now let's get into this beastly big tank. Like a tank. It's a tank. Okay, so let's get started with the exterior of the GWM tank. Very big, very beastly, very imposing. That large grille with the big tank badge, look, it commands presence. You have these nice LED vision headlamps that it's fitted with. It's finished in this lovely goldish color that I really like. It makes it look a bit more premium and not so much as an adventure SUV. Makes it blend in, especially with city driving. So that's what I like about it. You have the large spare wheel that's put at the back, which is reminiscent of the Jeep Cherokee, you know. You've got roof rails, you've got a large sunroof as well. It sits on 20-inch wheels with this very nice multi-spoke rim. And to be quite honest, for me, I'm getting a lot of Cadillac Escalade vibes. Dodge Ram, Cadillac Escalade, those big American-inspired SUVs, you know. But I think it's a pretty looking thing, man. What's also nice about this vehicle is that there's side skirts. Not side skirts, side steps. So they retract. So when you open the door, whether you're outside or inside, it gives you like a little step so you can get into the car easier. So I think that's nice. That's convenience. That's quite cool. But I think the exterior for me is very refreshing. It doesn't look like a brand new vehicle. It looks like something I've seen before, but it's refreshing because we are inundated with cars that are moving into smaller headlamps, you know, thin strips and all this sleek, nice, you know, futuristic, minimalist kind of vibe. And getting into a car that is like this, that is very reminiscent of older days, I think it looks really cool. I love how on the rear, on the spare wheel at the back, you also have the GWM Tank badging, the decals over there. I like also how easy it is to open the boot lid. It's not electric, obviously, so it's quite easy to open the boot lid. So it's quite, I really like it. So on the exterior, for me, I have no quarrels. I think it's a fantastic looking car. I don't know what you guys think about it, but the exterior for me is a solid. No, we'll give it a rating later, but I think it looks good, man. Like, it is absolutely stunning. So when you move on to the interior, it also is quite inviting and very plush to be in. You have this large imposing steering wheel, which is a multifunction steering wheel. Pedal flaps also behind the steering wheel. You have this lovely digital cluster. The graphics are quite good, and this large infotainment system screen that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto Connect functionality. You do also get wireless CarPlay in this vehicle, so that is a very, very nice feature. This large protruding gear lever, you know, heated seats, cooled seats, you know, a lot of parking aids, a lot of safety features, you know, lane keep assist, you've got it as well, you know, collision warning, you've got quite a very well equipped car. Like, it's very, very properly equipped. You also have this nice infinity sound system, which sounds really, really good, so I'm very impressed by that. But the interior for me is very beautiful. The quality in here is very much like, it's out of this world. Like, everything is well put together. The leather, the seats as well, very nice seats that when you sit on them, very comfortable, you know. It's a properly put together car, you know. Large sunroof as well, the panoramic sunroof as well, you know, wireless charging bay, 2 cup holders, and I think you also have a bit of a fridge function. I think there's a little fridge here in the center console, because the reason I say that, when I put my hand, there's a bit of a breeze. So I think kulela fridge, so that's very impressive, you know. You have blind spot monitors as well. So it's a nice car. Like, the interior for me and the functions and all the safety features that have been packed into this car are absolutely out of this world. You know, the infotainment system screen is also quite easy to use. It's very legible, very responsive as well. So well done to GWM in terms of this interior. You know, you have electric seats. You know, you can also recline the seats at the rear, if I'm not mistaken. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So this is a 7-seater, so there is a third row of seats, and those third row of seats, to take them up, you don't need to use your hand. You just press a button. That is quite nice. That is quite, you know, technology, guys. Things of today. So that's very nice of them. But because I'm alone, so the seats, the third row has always been down. And yeah, I mean, it's spacious. The boot space is actually quite good. So I'm very much impressed with this vehicle in terms of how well equipped and how comprehensive it is, and the tech and the feel and how inviting it is. You know, you also have like ambient lighting, just some thin strips there. It's a nice touch. So it's very well equipped on the interior. So now let's get into the drive of the GWM Tank. Guys, do you see I did a ponytail today? But the hair's too long. That's why I'm holding it back. Anyway, you're here for the car, not me. So this vehicle is powered by a 2-liter petrol hybrid. So it's a hybrid that produces 255 kilowatts and 648 Newton meters of torque, mated to a 9-speed automatic. And fuel consumption is claimed at around 8.5. Okay, let's just put all the information out there. And to be quite honest, the drive is something that I'm struggling to understand. I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but let me give it a shot. So what happens is, it's the same old thing that I have with Chinese cars. Calibration, the synergy between all the components of the car, it lacks a bit there. So when you're on the highway driving and you put your foot down, it's very pleasurable to drive, very nice. You know, gear changes are quite smooth. It's very quiet, well insulated. So it's lovely to drive. And I love the fact that it's also easy to maneuver. Even though it's a behemoth, it's a big car, it's large. It's actually easy to park and easy to just drive around in. It's similar to how I felt about the V-Class. It doesn't feel like you're in something that's over 2 tons, you know, and it looks like it is. It looks like it's a heavy drive, but the hybrid helps it quite a lot. The one thing I picked up as I was driving this vehicle is that there's certain jolts or certain jerk movements it makes sometimes when it changes gears. It's like it's kicking me in the bum, like go, and I'm like, okay. Why are you doing that? You know, like that's the first thing I pick up. But when it changes sometimes or has to shift down, there's a bit of a jerkiness that happens. The second thing I picked up about this car is when you are turning. So when you're turning, you'll turn into the lane you go into or the road you go into, and then it loses momentum. And then it just, when you put your foot down, then it comes up again. So I was like, all right. However, those are just the 2 problems I have with the drive. However, I think it's actually very nice to drive. Outside of the things I've mentioned, I think it probably will be better equipped off-road, maybe because obviously it is an adventure SUV. So off-road, obviously, when you put on all the modes and stuff like that, you'll have a better driving experience. Maybe it's meant to be off the beaten path. But on a daily drive, you know, just going to work and going to school, taking the kids to school and stuff, you'll be fine with it. It's nice to drive. There's that jerkiness again. Go. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but then it just comes up, like randomly comes up. And for me, it's just like, but for me, like long distance driving on the highway, it's fine. It really is better. I think it's city driving where it's struggling a bit. The stop start with the robots or traffic lights, I think it just kind of messes with it a bit. But on the highways where it shines beautifully and it's absolutely good to drive. But we'll get into everything in the verdict. Right, so now before we get into the verdict, let's start with the things that I don't like about the GWM Tank. So the first thing that I don't like about the The first thing that I don't like about the GWM Tank 500 is the fact that it's quite firm on tar. But I can forgive it because it's an adventure SUV, so it's meant to be like, it's like your Prados and your LC300, you know, like, you know, it's supposed to be off the beaten path. So on tar, it is a bit firm. You feel every bump and dip that is on the road. Second thing I don't like is the drive. Obviously, this little jerk movement, it is a bit irritating a little bit. But you know what? Other than that, it's fine. The third thing I don't like is this large infotainment system screen. Yes, I said it. I'm not a big fan. I don't mind big infotainment system screens, like, but I think I first saw a very large one in the J7. And I was just like, guys, these things, like, even if you're in another car, and you look into like the J7 or you look into the Tank, you most probably can be able to see any single thing that's happening on this infotainment system screen. Now my analogy was this, my thinking was this: say I'm driving and I'm driving this Tank, I'm with my partner or whoever. This is gonna be so controversial and funny, but yeah, say now you're driving, or I'm driving with my partner and he's sitting here, okay, yeah, whatever, husband, boyfriend, whatever he is. We don't have that, so we don't know. And then no, I have Apple CarPlay on, and someone texts me, is like, thank you for last night, it was great. And it could be anything, could be a meeting, could be, whatever. Now you are implicated. Driving, you're in trouble because the whole car, the whole family can read your WhatsApp text because you didn't disable the feature. Yeah, WhatsApp. I think I'd punch the screen. I'll break you. I'm sure. That is a dumb analogy, guys. I think that was a very stupid analogy. But yeah, like, it's just a bit of overkill. Like, even when CarPlay comes on, though, it's bright and whatever, yes, it looks good. But I think these screens are a little bit of overkill. Maybe for the sake of this vehicle, you need something this big so you can maneuver through all the driving modes when you're off-road or whatever. But I feel like they could have just toned it down a little bit. But anyway, the Chinese know how they do their thing, so let's not be fussy. One thing that I'm grateful for is that the USB cable, the USB-C cable, is now on my side. Usually with Chinese cars, you find the ports are on the passenger side, but now they're on my side, which makes it easier to just plug and go. So I really like that. So yeah, and when it comes, I think, you also have heads-up display. I just saw that. Okay, not just saw that now, but I wanted to mention it, that you also have heads-up display. So now let's get into the verdict. What does Maseve think of the Tank, GWM Tank 500? So all jokes are aside now, we're getting serious. There's no time for playing, we need to get serious. So this vehicle is in a segment with adventure SUVs, right? So you're looking at cars like the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, the Toyota LC300 maybe. What can I say? I'd also add a Raptor. AT35, yes, those are bikes, but it's in that playing field. Your adventure cars, the cars that you go off-road with, the cars that you can just put on the beaten path, the cars that you can just do so much fun with, like a lot of off-roading and overlanding with. So it's your adventure SUVs, not necessarily conventional SUVs, but these ones are meant to be out in the wild, out in nature. And the pricing for this vehicle is where things get a bit interesting, because it's priced at 1.22 million. Put it into perspective, the Land Cruiser Prado starts at around 1.3 million. I think it's 1.350. Yeah, I think the Land Cruiser Prado is at 1.350. So these cars are not necessarily cheap, if we can put it like that. So now everyone is asking, are the Chinese justified in pricing this vehicle at 1.2 million? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. My thing is, you can't say this car is a niche product, because I think Chinese manufacturers and niche don't go together. They are all about volume. So yeah, it's not necessarily a niche product. You want to push sales. That's just the natural way of business. You want to push sales. But are you justified at pricing this car at 1.2 million when Chinese manufacturers are known to be the more affordable alternative? We know Chinese brands to be the more affordable alternative, the one that, okay, they have all the tech and spec, but for significantly less, right? So now you're coming in with a product that has breached R1 million, and okay, that's interesting. Like, I'm really just trying to grasp it. So I think that's where the problem is. But in the same breath, I cannot say to you that this car is not worth 1.2 million. I would be very wrong if I said they could have priced it at 800 something thousand rand or 900,000 rand. The car is well equipped. The car is worthy of being priced at R1 million. It is. It's just that it's the brand that priced it. The problem is the brand, I guess. Or I don't know. I don't know how to explain this, you know? Like, they right, lento. Like, what they're doing is right. Yes, bring in a lot of cars, whatever. But you must understand you're coming into a very price-sensitive market, and you have already marketed yourself as the more affordable option. So now you want people to spend over R1 million on a Chinese car. So that's something to think about. Food for thought. Food for thought. Ultimately, for me, I would say that this vehicle is quite good. It's well equipped. It's well put together. And I think that even though you can get cars like maybe the Ford Wildtrak, Everest Wildtrak, or the Everest Platinum, yes, those cars are there. But I think this is a nice alternative, and it's quite nice. It's quite pleasurable. And I think they did well by bringing it in with this the very retro looks and stuff like that. And I can confidently say that it's probably very good off-road. So it's a well-rounded package. I think the pricing is where the disconnect is. But the car in itself isn't terrible. The car in itself has its flaws, yes, but it's not something that is terrible. This is actually probably one of the best Chinese cars in the market right now. Because it just goes to show that they can do it. They can really make proper vehicles. Right? What do we always say on the channel? Manufacturers are like men. They know exactly what to do to make a woman happy, but they just don't want. But yeah, I mean, this is a great step in Chinese manufacturing and Chinese offerings in the country or in the continent. So I do think that they've got a good model on their hands. And if they hone all this thing and kind of just refine and work on their other products, I'm telling you, they're going to do just fine. So maybe the disconnect is the pricing, but I think this car is absolutely fine. So for that, my full verdict of this vehicle will have to be a solid 8 out of 10. Purely because of the looks, purely because of how well equipped it is, and purely because of how they actually improved themselves and have made a product that I have some confidence in. So yeah, Tank, you've done well. You have really done well. And that is it from me, maseve. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys think about the GWM Tank. Would you get it? Would you get a Land Cruiser Prado? Are you getting the LC300? Are you getting a Raptor? Are you getting a Ford Everest? Which car would actually be on your radar at this price? That was a mouthful. But I think outside of the little iffy things that I mentioned about it, this car is really not terrible shame. I think people would, and what's nice about it is that a lot of people stay because they want to know what it is. So I think it's a fine car. It's a fine car. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to watch those ads because Kulavaka Gucci and all that jazz. I need to now go look for some food. I only had a yogurt and tea in the morning because I had to do the review. But now that I'm done, I'm going to relax. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about the Tank, the Tank 500. I'm rambling, I'm talking a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.